Hey guys, today I'm going to be tying up a little mosquito variant in mahogany color. I'm going to be using Togens scud hooks, number 14 and 3x heavy. These hooks are super strong and will be able to stand up to some huge fish. I'll be using Togens synthetic quills for the body. The one I've selected is a dark brown sort of mahogany color. I'll be using some Wapsi superfine waterproof dry fly dubbing in mahogany color for the collar. And then last but not least, I'll be using some Metz number 2 grizzly saddle for the wing and hackle. For this fly, you can use any thread that you want. I'll be using UTC 70 in black today. Start your thread off just back behind the hook eye, and it'll just give you a little bit more room to finish this fly with a proper placement of the head. And then just work that thread back up to the top of the hook. And then we're going to tie in our synthetic quill material. This stuff goes down to a very, very fine point. It's got some dark brown and then some metallic silver to it, and you can typically get 2 flies out of this. You'll get some very fine ribbing segments, and then on this one the rib segments are going to be just a little bit wider. The fish don't seem to mind either way. It looks very lifelike and deceptive. And then at the tail end of this, I want to make sure that you get that ribbing section just properly placed so that the metallic silver pops. And then tie your thread right in behind this material to lock it off, making sure that every segment is properly placed, and then give a couple of wraps in front of this material as well, and that's not going to go anywhere. I like to nip that away and then wrap up the little loose ends a little bit with my thread. And then before you go on to the next step here, we're going to add some crazy glue for the body. And that'll just keep each of those segments in proper place, as well as add some durability to the body of this fly. Let that cure just for a few seconds, and then here we're going to be adding just small pinch of this superfine dubbing. And you want to make sure that near the top portion of this dubbing that you make it very streamlined, just to start that profile. Give it one wrap to tuck it in, and then you can always tighten up that dubbing loop from that point. You don't go crazy with a large amount of dubbing. It's just to help with the buoyancy of this fly, and it'll help prop the hackle up properly so that it'll sit on top of the water nice and lifelike. And then here I've stripped down the left side of the grizzly hackle and then trimmed the point of it just to give me a little bit of an anchor to tie this piece in and not build up any bulk on the head of this fly as well. Good little tips and tricks whenever you're using this hackle. You can sure tie with both sides of the fibers, but it stacks real nice, as you can see here, with just one side of that hackle stripped, and then you don't get too carried away with a ton of feather fibers as well. Be careful with the head of this fly as it tapers down towards the eye. You want to make sure that you hold that hackle as tight to that thorax as possible, and it's going to add to the durability as well if you can get those wraps nice and condensed, one in front of the other. And then, as always, we'll lock off behind the hackle and then in front of the hackle with the thread. Make sure all those fibers get pulled back. We'll do a little bit of some trimming at the end of this fly to make sure that it is perfect. That looks pretty good there. And to finish things off, I'm just using a 3 or 4 turn whip finish. One should do. Trim that thread as close as you can to the little head. And then go ahead and trim away the strand of hackle very carefully, very tight to that head. And do any final last trimmings A couple of little stragglers here that we'll get rid of and make that nice and clean. And then last but not least, we'll finish this fly off with a little drop of varnish. You can use some crazy glue, Sally's. Some people like UV resins, whatever works for you. Just going to protect that whip finish and protect this fly. All of these products can be found through Togens Fly Shop. Amazing guys to deal with, great customer service. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and there you have it. The mosquito variant in mahogany. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the waters.